So by now you should have heard some rumors on the Celsius community that Cantor was trying to buy claims from Celsius this late in the game. And even myself initially kind of disregarded this just because it seems almost like a fairy tale because we have a litigation with Tether and they hold 80 billion in Tether. So I kind of asked for more facts and I did manage to track two creditors with more than 5 million in claims that have confirmed this. But you can see here the email that I managed to track it down. This email is quite recent. It's come from like the middle of March. So by now, by this stage, there should have been some developments on the Tether litigation front. I think they started discovery at the end of last year, probably around November or something like that, if I recall correctly. So they should have had some developments, and it's just weird to have Cantor, which could potentially have inside information on Tether, basically say that they are still looking to trade Celsius claims, and it's just a bet on the litigation. So you keep your crypto and Ionic shares, and they get the future proceedings of the litigation. It also states about the BTC positions, etc., and loans that they are offering. But just on this front, it's an offer, and there are a lot of bureaucracy because if you receive the first distribution or second distribution as well, your distributions are coming to that PayPal or Coinbase account, so their hyper wallet. So for them to go to all of that trouble, there must be a significant upside. I don't expect them to just made 1 cent on the dollar. But just before we listen to the call, let's just have a small context what Cantor does for Tether. This is what the CEO on a Bitcoin conference said about their business.
And then I met the people who owned Tether. And let me tell you, at that time, there were all these media haters and all these haters, and they all said the same thing. They said they don't have the money, and it's a Ponzi scheme. So I met Giancarlo, and I basically told him the movie line. I said, show me the money. Do you have the money? And he said he had it. So they gave us complete access to due diligence and to see and prove that they had the money. So I told them, after we verified every penny, I told them we would onboard them to Cantor, provided when these assets matured, this commercial paper matured, they would send the money to Cantor and we would buy U.S. Treasury bills.
So you can see that Cantor is basically the main guy behind Tether, okay? Without Cantor, Tether would not be able to have the liquidity, and they are holding billions. We're talking, I think, probably 80 billion just on treasury bills, probably more by this stage. So with this context, let's hear a call with James Bellardo, and let's see if it's interesting what he has to say.
To give you a sense of the market, we just put a 6-cent bid on a $4 million claim yesterday. You would keep everything that you've received thus far. But do you think you'd sell it 6 cents, assuming we sort that out?
So you heard him give his proposal, which is 6 cents. And that's a very interesting value because currently, right now, there is 7.38 cents according to Celsius. I think 1% of this is illiquid. And this includes reserves for expenses. So he basically is offering the entire recovery and is just to risk it potentially 1%. So he gets 6% and then he gets another, he risks 1%. Now, from every offer we've seen by distressed investors, that's a very good offer. leaves almost no margin to make a profit. And with all the hassle that he has to go through to just have this amount of cash, it's a little bit weird. And you also have another 1% that should be claims that are not claimed by claimants. But this is not a certainty. You then have more or less the guarantee of Alex Mashinsky that he's another 1%, but that can also be claimed by everyone. So I wouldn't imagine someone making such a, on paper, good offer for probably 1 year to see future funds and not have like at least a sizable upside. And that's my conclusion that he is probably betting on the litigation of Tether. You kind of have to conclude that. So that's why I'm telling people right now you have a sort of lottery ticket. You have more or 6% already guaranteed for you to receive. And if Celsius wins the argument, which I think are strong, basically Celsius had an agreement that gave X amount of hours to be able to fund that loan that they had with Tether, and Tether, by all bankruptcy documents, violated such. And then you also have the bankruptcy code. So you have, and on top of that, you also had the fact that Celsius could have maintained that position because we have spent already 300 and something millions on this bankruptcy, and that would have been more than enough to maintain that loan. And that loan will have been completely paid off with this rally, and Tether will have had no losses. So I don't think Tether has a good case here, and they didn't even liquidate the Bitcoin, so they don't even have the argument that they were de-risking. So I think I think we could see this as good news. Okay, but yeah, this is all the juicy bits that I have, and I hope you keep that lottery ticket.